Hello, friends. This is Akulmach Live. I'm Chandrakant. Today, we want to discuss something very, very important, and the subject is about the patient doctor relationship. What is the new skills that doctors need today in order to be effective doctor? We know that doctor sometimes treated like gods because they can give us life and they can, you know, bring our patient back from death. So, doctors are very, very important entity in our society, but doctors also need to learn things. So today, this is what we want to discuss, and we have a very distinguished guest joining our panel today. Before we start our discussion, I'd like to tell you, friends, that there is a giveaway. Please stick around till the end of this video, and we will tell you how you can win your free gift. So let's get back to our discussion. Hello, friends. Let me introduce our guest today. He's joining us from London. His name is Dr. Umesh Prabhu, a celebrity of sorts. He has been director of NHS, which is a very prestigious role, for almost 15 years. We are very pleased to have him on our show today. Without further ado, let me present Dr. Prabhu to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, CA. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here. I have heard a lot about you. I have heard about your program a lot. My name is Umesh Prabhu. I was a consultant pediatrician. I developed interest in patient safety after my own mistake, and I have now given more than 300 lectures why doctors make mistakes and how to protect patients. Protecting patients, supporting doctors are the two sides of the same coin. Ours is a noble profession and wonderful profession, and we must always put patient at the heart of everything we do. And if I tell you the statistics, I think it will be frightening. But I want you to remember, vast majority doctors are very good. Doctors are treated like gods. There is a study in London. Every year they do this study. 90% of people trust doctors and nurses. Only 17% trust politicians. With that trust, we have a great responsibility on our shoulder, and we must always put patient at the heart of everything we do. And that is the reason why. At present, in the United States, there may be up to 200,000 people die or suffer due to medical error. And in the United Kingdom, 75,000 patients suffer moderate to severe harm due to medical error. But that is, most of them are preventable, and that is my special interest.
Well, doctor, I fully agree with you. Sometimes a doctor who treats you can be given the status of a god because, between life and death, doctor plays a major role. But I think we forget sometimes that doctor is also a human being and they are also affected by the emotions and, sometimes anger, all kinds of emotions. So, what is your advice to the fellow professionals how they should control their emotions?
I think the most important thing is for doctor must stay calm. Always stay calm. It's very difficult. If a surgeon gets emotional, he will make mistake and he can cut the artery and patient can die. So most important to stay calm always. It's not easy because doctors are human beings and doctors have got alcohol problem. Doctors have got substance misuse. Doctors get mental health. Doctors have got personality problem. Because doctors are human beings at the end of the day. My advice to doctors is very simple. Be proud of your profession. It's a noble profession. It's a wonderful profession. Without doctors there and nurses, there won't be any patients. That's the reason why we must make sure we always put patient at the heart of everything we do. COVID has affected a lot of doctors. COVID has affected everyone. I have lost 40 of my friends in UK due to COVID. And because doctors work very hard and they are more exposed to COVID. And that's the reason why my simple advice to doctors is be proud of your noble, wonderful profession.
Certainly, I think that's a very good advice. And usually, doctors are very calm. What I've seen is that you go to any doctor, they are very busy. Also, they have to go to wards, and they have to come to OPD, and then they have to give, all kinds of patients. They have to see, treat them differently. Every patient has a different story to tell. They are very calm. But last 15 days to 20 days, I've seen that even doctors are losing their cool. I think, especially in India, there is so much pressure which this wretched virus has brought to the medical fraternity that all the doctors are now losing cool. Would you have any word of wisdom for doctors?
I think important. When going gets tough, tough get going. That is the time where your cool is more important, because it's not just the doctors, it's the patients. When I see the video, here my heart cries. I saw many patients dying because lack of oxygen. So it is not just the doctors, it's the patient. So my advice to doctors is be proud of what you do, because without doctors, there won't be anything at all. Without doctors and nurses are also equally important. But most important is take the patient through that journey. Be proud of your noble profession. But important to remember, you are a human being. As Devi Shetty said, nobody is perfect. He was telling the other day, I saw a video. Nobody is perfect. Wife thinks husband is perfect. Husband thinks wife is perfect. None of us are perfect. We are all human beings. And you've got to do your best for the patient. But you must be humble. You must have humility. And most important, you must understand why doctors make mistakes. Because only doctors know why doctors make mistakes. And there are complex reasons. It is not because of bad doctors. I have come across bad doctors. Somebody sexually molesting patient, that's a bad doctor. Doctors drinking alcohol excessively, that's a bad thing. But doctors must stay cool and must be very proud of noble profession and must say, I'm going to do it. And doctor must know how to take patient through the journey. And doctor also needs doctor skill, communication skill, interpersonal skill, organizational skill, team working. So doctor must be good at everything, and it is almost impossible.
Well, I think you made some very, very important, very powerful words like interpersonal skills, and I know for sure that you're not working with NHS. You're now retired, sorts of, but you're helping the medical staff. You're bringing the doctors, you're hiring doctors, making them ready for future. So would you like to give some inputs on this part of your life where you're helping your fellow professions to be a better successful profession?
Let me tell you statistics. At present, there is 5 to 8 million shortage of healthcare workers, including doctors. It is expected to increase to 18 million by 2030. Throughout the world, there is a shortage of doctors. And with COVID, people have realized the importance of doctors. Brazil has got a lot of problems. America has got a lot of problems. Now India has got problems. So we all need doctors and nurses. What we are doing is we are getting doctors from India and nurses from India, training them in UK and hoping that they will go back to serve India. Being a doctor, being a nurse is serving the humanity. And that is what we are doing. That is what, and I'm enjoying it because my duty is to pass my knowledge to the future generation. And every doctor must be a very good doctor. If not, patients suffer.
So, Dr. Prabhu, let me ask you: are you running an academy kind of a thing, or just an advisory?
I work with many people. I do my own Zoom training. I do Zoom teaching. So that's the reason why. Even in India, I'm doing some Zoom training in the medical college. How to be a good doctor. Why doctors make mistakes. How to avoid this. For example, medication error is one of the most common cause of harm. And in India, nobody has done a study on it. And that is the reason why. My aim is because one day we'll all will be patient. So patient safety is a human rights issue. And we must take interest in patient safety. Because when patients suffer, doctors suffer. When doctors suffer, patients suffer. And that is the reason why I'm now spending a lot of my time training doctors on how to prevent harm to patients. And in UK, regulation is very strict. Each year, 9,000 doctors are referred to General Medical Council. And overseas doctors are 6 times more likely to be referred. And reasons are very complex. And that is the reason why prevention is better than cure. I teach these doctors before they come from India what makes you referral to GMC and how to prevent it.
I think this is very, very powerful advice or input or knowledge. I think whatever you want to call it, you can call it. And it is required because the regulations are now getting very tightened all over the world, including in India, where the proper legal bindings are being, issued right now. And while you also mentioned there is going to be dearth of doctors, so that means we need more trained professionals who can not only treat patient but also treat them effectively. And that is where your knowledge comes in, where you tell your fellow professionals to treat the patient effectively, and that is why your knowledge and your courses are very valuable for everyone. Every doctor must talk to you and attend your class.
Let me tell you one important story. Last 3 years ago, a doctor from Chennai in UK took his own life. He was falsely accused of sexually molesting patients. And what a human tragedy. So doctors must know these regulations, what to do when there's an allegation of sexual molestation and how to prevent it. That is what I'm spending time, because prevention is better than cure. And let me tell you, in United Kingdom, 40 doctors have taken their own life, 300 nurses have taken their own life, and vast majority of them are overseas trained doctors and nurses. What a human tragedy. So all I'm doing is prevent these tragedies for anybody, because when somebody takes his own life, his family suffers, his children suffer. And that is the reason why. With COVID also, prevention is always better than cure. So doctors must take interest in patient safety. And in India, violence against doctors is increasing. It's a pretty bad story. I've collected 100 incidents where doctors have been manhandled. And that is what doctors must take interest in these things. Doctors must work with the politicians, and doctors must always put patients at the heart, and doctors must prevent harm to patients. Hospital-acquired infection, medication error, post-surgical complications, these are all very common. And statistics is very worrying. United States, as I told you, 200,000 patients suffer moderate to severe harm. In UK, 75,000 patients suffer moderate to severe harm. And so doctors must take interest in patient safety. Doctors must be very proud of their noble and wonderful profession.
Absolutely, Dr. Umesh. I think you have given a lot of information today, and I think every doctor who wants to become a really good doctor must listen to you, whether you are in India or Taiwan or Singapore or UK, wherever you are. I think doctor profession as a profession is a universal profession. You can treat any citizen of any country, and that is why they must listen to you, they must engage with you, and they must learn from your experience, because I think you have already spent so many years, more than 30 35 years in this profession.
I'm very proud of our profession. Ours is a noble profession and wonderful profession. And India is a noble country. India is a wonderful country. We must be very proud of Indian values. It's Indian values, Indian teaching, which made me successful in UK. I'm very proud of India. I'm very proud of United Kingdom. And with Brexit, there is a very good opportunity for both the countries to grow together, learn from each other. And that is what my dream is, so that India and UK both can be a great two nations and work together. Boris Johnson has already said he wants to do trade deal with India, and I think Narendra Modi. And now India is suffering, and we are all helping India, and we are praying for India. Hopefully, both the countries will grow together and become more successful in the world.
Well, doctor, you mentioned about the trade deal. So a part of a trade deal came out 2 days back, where there is a bilateral agreement between UK and India, and the value of the agreement is about 1 billion pounds, or 1.4 billion US dollars. And because of this agreement, there will be 6 to 7 thousand new jobs in UK, and UK is going to help Serum Institute to develop AstraZeneca and other vaccination, even the nasal vaccination. So I think this is the precursor of the free trade deal, which is going to happen in few days from now. So I think eagerly waiting for that to happen.
I think that's a very good. And not only that, UK can learn from India, because India makes medicine very, very cheap rate. In UK, medicines are very, very costly. So there are a lot of things. And if you look at India, India spends, for example, Narayana Hrudayalaya, I think they do a lot of, very highly efficient elective operations. So UK can learn from India, India can learn from UK, and both of us can grow together.
Absolutely, doctor. It was a pleasure talking to you, and learning that how you're keeping yourself busy now. You're helping other doctors and medical staff world over to be a better professional, better doctor. I think it's a pleasure for the years to learn from you. But this is not the last discussion we had. We will actually invite you again next week and discuss something even more interesting.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You're doing a fantastic job. I know you know Neha. I know you know Neville. They're all my friends. I think most important is when you are very proud of your profession, Make sure your professional integrity is maintained, and I want to help the doctors so that neither the patients suffer nor the doctors suffer, and we can have a fantastic, be proud of this noble and wonderful profession.
Thank you, doctor. So I say goodbye for today, only to meet you next time.
Thank you very much, and it's a great pleasure to have you. And great, you're doing a fantastic job. Keep up your great work.
We have some unique Akulmach memorabilia which will make you look outstanding. The graphics on these corporate gifts are based on the global best business practices. To become recipient of one of these gifts for free, you have to watch this video till the end and provide your valuable comments. Or you can also share your experiences. The person who makes the best comment would be chosen to become a recipient of these beautiful Akulmach gift, absolutely free, delivered to your doorsteps. The winner would also get a chance to be invited live as a distinguished panelist during our next video. What are you waiting for, friends? Please subscribe Akulmach and smash that like button. Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmach Technologies and welcome to The Journeys. Today I'm very pleased and honored to bring you a very distinguished personality who joins us from Atlanta, Georgia, and he is the elected secretary of World Council of Boxing. Let me present to you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Lement Dunn.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Nice to meet you. God bless y'all, and I hope y'all having a wonderful day. I am honored, CK, to be on your show and everything. It's great meeting you and everything. I'm very honored.
So I think our viewers would like to get inspired by your story. You are a very disciplined human being. You are an athlete. You have a great exercising routine, and you also compete. So why don't you tell about your life story and share some good inspirational story with our viewers?
Um, well, I'm James Dunn. I'm from Roanoke, Virginia originally, but just relocated down to Atlanta, Georgia, which I'm going into a whole different field of work. Um, Born and raised Roanoke, Virginia. Um, Played sports, track, football, and baseball. Played sports just 2 years in high school. I played semi-pro football. Um, Pretty much, I'm a jack of all trades. From electrical, from whatever you know. I done firefighting. Um, Pretty much, my story is, I've been through struggles all my life, ups and downs, challenges, and, been through, I done been homeless before and everything. And I just want to let everybody know, they'll never give up on your dreams and everything because, what I'm saying, it's always hope. Life is what you make it. And that's what I want to tell everybody. Recently, last year, the end of last year, I got nominated on the executive board, the Hughes, the Third Enterprises, which is Miss Geraldine Hughes. She worked on the molestation case for the attorney on the defensive side for the Michael Jackson case when they tried to say he molested the little boy. And she nominated me. And right now, she done a book called Redemption, and she did a documentary called Redemption. You can find her book on Amazon. She nominated me on her executive board. Right now, we working on the about to be give it start working on the movie. Then I got nominated with BMM AFU, which stands for Boxing MMA Fight Union. Mr. Charles Russo is president. He pretty much nominated me as North Carolina State Chairman. Then Miss Geraldine got me on a conference call with Troy Edwards, which he built his own brand, 3HP Marketing Promotions. He's doing the soundtrack for Redemption and a lot of other soundtracks and working on a lot of other things. He got a lot of things going on and coming. Um, Troy Edwards called me around January and wanted to nominate me with his staff for 3HP as his A&R promoter. So been working on promoting and things like that. And then recently, beginning of this year, they nominated me again with the BMMFU as vice president of talent support, which I recruit talent all over the globe and United States, international. You know, I could recruit boxers, managers. Pretty much, they reach out to me because of my title, but I also reach out to them as well. And I got nominated this year too with the World General Council of Boxing as committee secretary, which secretary I keep track of all records and files and everything that's going on with the boxing and the boxing union and things like that. You know, just keep records of everything and keep track of everything and keep everything in file and everything. So I've been working on things with that, and then I built my own brand from ground up. I've been working on, which is global and is in the market with Denisa. Denisa, she pretty much started her own Hoinser. She's got CEO of Hoinser's magazine. I'm global partners with Hoinser's magazine, and I'm a brand ambassador. And my brand, I'm building my brand. My brand is Done Right Promotions, which is a brand for the sports entertainment and you know pretty much for pretty much kids and whoever want to wear the brand and support the brand or whatever. But I created the brand, and I'm the owner of the brand, the founder. And I'm pretty much gonna start going, maybe I'm gonna go to some schools and stuff like that, maybe hand out some shirts and stuff for the kids and things like that. Because I'm big into like donating and like big into like homeless and cancer. I lost a lady I was with for 3 years back then, years ago. She had breast cancer. So I'm a big, huge supporter of breast cancer, homeless. I support the homeless and veterans, things like that. Um, USO, I donate to USO. I donate money every month to the USO. I'm big on nonprofit. Big on nonprofit, and that's my plan to go around and make donations and help out, nonprofit organizations and things like that.
Fantastic. You had a fascinating journey, I think very inspiring. And you work with the boxers and you also are recruiting a lot of boxers. Would you like to share some of these traits that you're looking for in the budding boxers?
Repeat that again.
You are working for the Boxing Association, which is also looking for the boxers. So, what is the big quality a boxer must have?
Basically, what I do, we a union. BMMF AFU is a union. It's a union we started, to help out boxers. What we do, we make sure the boxers have insurance. We make sure they have life insurance benefits. We have our own events we do and gonna be holding, but is COVID stepped in, and we had a lot of stuff coming up last year got canceled. But you got to go by government rules and certain things on airlines and getting fighters because we globally, so we got fighters all over the world, so getting them here and getting them back, a lot of things we work off the government, and it's a lot of rules, and what I'm saying, you got to go by, and we here to support the boxers 100%. That's what we do. We're the law of the boxing, and we here to stop a lot of nonsense, because a lot of boxers get treated wrong and stuff like that. You got managers and promoters treat boxers. Some of them treat boxers fair and good. Some of them don't. So we here to find out all the negative and all the crookedness going on in the boxing, and we're gonna weed all the negative everything out of that. You know what I'm saying? So what our goal is, that's what we do, man. We here to support. We here to support, and we the law. We here to stop all the nonsense, and everything. That's what we here for to do.
Very good. And the people who can associate with you are from the United States, or they can be from anywhere in the world.
We got them all. We got boxers from United States, UK. We got we got them all from all over, China. You know, um, Britain. We got them. We got them. They all over the world. This a global union. Global boxing union. It's a global boxing union.
So, how do you engage with these boxers which are in China or UK or Malaysia or in United States? Do you have a website for registration? How does this start?
Website. Basically, they like I said, they reach out to me. Anytime you're in the boxing field and you promoting and you are managing everything, your title, we normally reach out to their managers, promoters, and we normally their commissions, and we normally reach out. They reach out to us, and if they want to decide, or their manager or whatever, bring them on with the union. We bring them on. We bring them on with the union, and we pretty much sign them up and get them in. And once they get in, we're gonna take care of them and make sure, we're gonna put them on there when we have our sanctioned events, our fights and stuff like that, fight cards, and you know, let them fight on the fight cards. We're gonna pay everybody fair, equally. Ain't nobody gonna get cheated, things like that.
So, is there a joining fee that your organization charges from these boxers?
And repeat that again.
Is there a joining fee that is charged for providing these services?
Nah, it's not charged. It's no fee.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So, what is the plans
Like I
forward
said,
for?
we here to support the boxers. We here to look out for them. Make sure we here to support them. That's our job. We here to support. Support.
Understand. So, what is the plan looks like in 2021? How do you see restarting the fights this year, considering the new administration is there in United States, and at some point in time the lockdown may be lifted? Are you preparing for this?
Oh, right now it's looking good. We had a lot of some. We had some stuff. We had some stuff promoted and pretty much started, but the COVID, like it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things going on with the COVID in other countries and things like that too. Like we still playing everything by ear. You can have and schedule events and put things together, but also things can come up too. And we might have a date on a car event, but the date could, because of that, could be pushed to. We'll still have it, but it can be pushed to a later date. But it's nothing we can control with whatever the government dishes out. With the COVID, it's better to be safe. You know what I'm saying, than anything. So basically, we got things happening and things coming up and things in the making, but at the same time, you got to go by the government rules and the government laws and stuff like that. And the COVID, we had been having this big issue with the COVID and stuff like that. So basically, we got to wait on, so a lot of stuff we've been having, we just waiting and everything, but we still, it's all in the making and everything is happening. We might have to push maybe back some events back, maybe a month back or something like that. Like if it's March, you might have to push it to April or something like that.
Sure. So, in terms of the future of boxing, where do you see this sports going?
Can you repeat that again?
The future of boxing, does it look very bright, or people will stop doing practice because of COVID, and they will take some time to get in shape? Do you see some challenges in that area?
I think other than the COVID, I can't really say nothing about that because the COVID is a COVID. But people are still trained. They might, train. I mean, gyms and stuff is back open right now. People still doing like training and stuff like that, but you still got to be cautious. Certain stuff you do and this and that. You can't really say much. It's a lot that you can't really say because you don't really know. We don't we you plan things and you know things, but with this COVID, you don't know. You don't know if it get worse or it can clear up. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know. So basically, right now, it's a cautious thing. Boxing is looking good and looking great and everything, but with this COVID, you never know. That's with anything out here, not just boxing. That's with anything, jobs or anything that's going on in this world right now. This COVID, you don't know. Entertainment, anything. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I don't see any new movies also coming in, right? So we are all waiting for these new movies to come in theaters, but we don't know when they are going to get released. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, we about to start working on some things and stuff. We got some things in the making. I can't really say much more or say really anything, anything else about. I know we got a lot of things coming close and in the making, and a lot of things get ready to happen. And you know what I'm saying? I just can't say more, you know what I'm saying? But we got a lot of stuff coming.
So I think it has been my greatest pleasure talking to you, James, and learning about the fight and the kind of work you do for the boxers, and you help them in terms of having the fair remuneration being given to them, legal support, and you work across the world. You have UK boxers working with you. You have Chinese, Malaysian, all over the place. So I think you're doing a remarkable job. You are already have done so much for the boxing community, and above all, the boxing as a sport inculcates the discipline in people. So would you like to give your last advice to youngsters about how to be disciplined?
What with the boxers and the discipline and everything, basically, I just tell the boxers stay healthy. That's the main key of boxing and everything. Stay healthy. Make sure you eating right. Make sure you dieting right. Stay training, but be safe Try not to get hurt. Stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? Basically, watch out for this COVID and everything, because if you get that, it can harm you too. If you get, if you got a fight coming up and you get sick or COVID, anything, you know what I'm saying? Just be safe and everything. Just stay healthy and be safe. That's all. That's the main thing right now in this whole world is being safe and staying healthy. That's the main key of life. Being safe and stay healthy and stay disciplined.
Absolutely. This is a very powerful message that you have given us today. Stay disciplined, stay healthy, eat right, and never stop practicing. So, with this, I'd like to say goodbye to you for today. It was my personal pleasure talking to you, James. And I would like to interview once again after few months or so, when the situation looks better and more boxers are coming to you for getting associated with the World Federation of Boxing.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's my honor. Once again, my honor, and appreciate the interview. And you be safe and everything out there. And God bless you and your fam. And what I'm saying, stay healthy, yourself too. And yeah, you enjoy the rest of your day and week. What I'm saying, weekend and everything. And God bless you, my brother.
Thank you, James. You have a good time and stay healthy, safe, and disciplined. Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you.
Hello, friends. This is Chandra, and today I would like to talk to all my startup and small medium companies and give some ideas on how you can take your product and your knowledge and your services to right people, right audience. And this is something that I have personally tried, and I would like to share this information with you all with the intention that you can also leverage this and probably take some of these action points, and if you like you can implement them and also grow your business. One other thing which I would like to mention today is um, the uh, the marketing strategy of all the people today is by and large based on the email. And while we get so many emails, we also individually delete all those emails which are hitting our inbox. So the chances are that if we are sending our emails, somebody else is deleting those emails. So there is a risk of your email messages not being reaching to the right audience or the intended audience, or even if they are reaching, they are getting deleted. There is very little analytics that is possible on what you can do to increase the interest level of the recipient. So that is one of the issues that there is, which is plaguing all of us in the field today. And the other issue is there are a lot of compliance related matters which we have to take care. So while there is a social media and many organizations are leveraging social media to take their messages and they are moving away from email, I personally feel that time is right to move away from email marketing and get into the social media marketing completely. For various reasons, there are a lot of advantages. One of the advantages is non-intrusive. That means whoever is seeing those messages, the control is in his hand, and he can actually control what he wants to see. And suppose he doesn't want to see your post, then he can simply move on and see something else. So it's completely non-intrusive. It is not interfering in any privacy. At the same time, you have leverage of reaching a lot of people globally. So you can now address a bigger segment of people on social media. The challenge on social media is how do you send your messages and the same version to all of these different social media which is available today. So we can help you with all these new techniques, and if you go to the link which is there on the website, that is topbrass.akulmach.com. This is a new platform that we have created which will help you do all this at a very low cost. So I think my ideas, my suggestions are in line with what you are thinking. My sincere suggestion is move out of email marketing as soon as possible, because you're spending a lot of money in building the infrastructure, buying client databases, building CRMs, running campaigns, and the ROI is not visible. So start using social media as quickly as possible, and you will see the difference. Thank you. Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmach Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass. And today our segment is CEO Roundtable. Let me invite our guest today. First, very senior person joining us from UK. His name is Naval Gunt, and he is the CEO of Mindfit Limited. Welcome to CEO Roundtable, Naval.
Thanks very much, CK. Good morning, everybody. Look forward to a great discussion.
Certainly. And our guest number 2 is Ms. Farida Charania. She is the CEO of Career Zoom. She joins us from Singapore. Welcome to CEO Roundtable, Farida.
Thank you, CK. Excited to have this discussion with everyone.
Yes, we are also looking forward to it. And our next guest is Ms. Kanchan Verma. She is the CEO of Akulmach Technologies, and she joins us from India.
Thank you, CK, and everybody. Hi, everybody. How everybody is doing today?
Everybody is fine, and I think the topic of discussion today is, we have been, in fact, all countries are undergoing the COVID-19 situation, where almost entire world is under lockdown. There are do's and don'ts defined by WHO, which are followed by all countries. So literally, we have not seen in the recorded history of mankind that such a unprecedented lockdown has been imposed on the entire earth. And because of this situation, the real pandemic is actually creating havoc on the mankind. People have already lost a lot of jobs. And I think the discussion point is many jobs have been lost already, but it is not over. We are not expecting the vaccine before December this year, if everything goes right. I think the leader is Oxford University, so we will see how it goes. But I think this pandemic is here, we are undergoing it, and people are losing job, which is adding to the pain. So let me first invite Mr. Naval Gunt to address this issue, what people should do, because I think it's a reality. People are losing jobs, and all kinds of new opportunities are available, but they are not visible. So what is your take on this situation?
Well, we're in an interesting arena. If I have a penny for every time I've heard unprecedented times, I'd be a millionaire, because they are unprecedented. But that doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't be thinking about doing the best things we can. And what we've got in the global arena currently, and I'm not just talking about job seekers, I'm talking about businesses that are employing, governments that are trying to sort things out. But we've got 3 types of actions that people are taking, 3 different behaviors. Surprisingly, there's a large number of people in denial. In other words, yes, COVID's happened, so that's a tick, but it's going to go back to normal. Eventually, the virus will have a vaccine, and in a few months, maybe early next year now, things will go back to normal. That's one group. Another group is in complete chaos. They don't know what's happening. They can't control what's happening. They don't know where they're going. They're not planning. They've been set in this headless chicken type approach, and they're literally running around being very busy, but not doing a great deal about it. And then you've got a very small minority that are somewhere in the middle and are accepting that this is something they can't control. It's here to stay. The virus might improve things, the vaccine might improve things, but it may not, because it may not work on everybody. So they're really in the land of reality, and they're now doing things, they're making plans and doing things about it. And the same goes for people that are in the jobless arena. We've got headless chickens, we've got people in denial, and we've got a very few minority in this middle arena. And that is where the advantage comes, because we need to get you into that middle arena, because there are jobs out there, and the businesses are going to give the jobs to the people that are not in denial and not chaotic, but actually want to get after things. It's common sense, really. But let's see whether it's common practice. But it'd be interesting to know, we've got an international audience here. We've got an international panel. It'd be interesting to know whether that fits, in the likes of India, in Asia, in Singapore. But so we've got a fascinating discussion ahead, I think, and we can help job seekers get on the straight and narrow and come out of this chaotic arena, out of denial, and get on with their lives. Put the right CV out there to the right organizations, because people are still hiring. That's my take currently.
In fact, Neville, the way you have described is you have put people in 3 buckets, and the most important bucket is the people who are in denial. And I saw an advertisement yesterday. The premier insurance company in India, they are now looking for new agents, and they are advertising on TV, which I've never seen in my life. So,
wow.
They are saying, please join us as agent through TV, because earlier that was something which was not really focused on. So I think there are jobs available if you see and look around. The previous jobs which were there before the pandemic are no longer available, but I think there are a lot of new jobs that are available. And with this, I would like to ask Farida. Farida, you work with the government and you have a very vast experience working with Asia Pac companies as well as European companies. In your network, what do you see? Do you agree with Neville, or do you disagree, or what is so different in your marketplace?
I think I do agree with Neville, because we do see, if we were to look at a broad classification, these are 3 types of people that you actually come across when you speak to people. And I have been kind of, thinking this through, and I feel that, okay, this pain which is going to come with this is inevitable. You can't do anything about it, but misery is optional. There is still a way out of it. So to a certain extent, crisis, drives alignment, and it allows you as an individual, a company as an organization, a government, everyone to move in a certain direction. Because you realize that a lot of it is fluff around you, but there are things which will still actually move. Yeah. And one of the things that I personally believe is never waste a crisis, because it teaches you something. It also, kind of makes you understand where the resilience actually lacked, and which are the areas which will continue to hire people, which will continue to, kind of come out of this, there would be new streams which would develop, because there is a crisis, and everything which was happening before probably may no longer continue to happen. Some of these businesses might go out of business permanently. They might never recover, or they might never, because even though, people think that, things might come back to normal, but it's a very, very long road ahead, and nobody knows what the normal is going to look like. This is an opportunity for every individual, every organization to think differently and start thinking about what is it that we need, what is it that we want, what is it that we can afford as an individual, as an organization, as a country, and together as a planet. So to just, kind of bring a little bit of, my perspective to what Neville was saying just now is that there are new jobs which will be available. CK just mentioned something very new, which is a freelance opportunity. And, maybe people never considered it before. But yes, insurance will become very, very, it will become very important in future because you don't know how this is going to pan out. Vaccine is still work in progress, and, SARS was 10 years ago. More than 10 years ago, we still don't have a vaccine. The thing that actually gives me a little comfort is that the SARS virus and the COVID virus are the same virus with separate strains. And human trials which were actually happening due to the SARS, epidemic, it's the same, vaccine with some different strains, and it's being used for this pandemic. But it's all hearsay. I mean, I don't kind of, trust that this will come through very soon. And human trials still take the time that they need to take. So the community which is in denial, this might be the time to start looking at what you can do, because at least as a professional, I do not see things coming back to normal very quickly. For people who are getting very upset with all of this, I think most of us have been there. But look at the bright side, because there will be new opportunities, there will be new arena. And people who have already aligned themselves, good news for you is that yes, you might not get the kind of jobs that you actually, probably had a year ago or so. The kind of pay scales which will be offered, which is going to be distinctly different. You don't know how the structure is going to look like in future. But there are jobs available. They might not be aligned to probably your education and your experience, but there will be new things. And there are governments which are pushing this as well. Like for instance, in Singapore, there are new jobs which are either being created or they are coming up as a result of this entire chaos which is happening. For instance, digital ambassadors. Digital ambassadors are people who could come from any kind of educational background, who could come from any kind of experience. These are people who will be trained to become digitally savvy and then go and train people who are not digitally savvy, so that everyone actually comes at the same page. So this is a new kind of a job. It might not be what you've done before, but it's available. So just to kind of bring all of this together, my perspective is that there is pain. More pain will come because, schemes like furlough or, the subsidies which the government is offering to companies to keep the workforce are going to go away. No government can afford this forever. And, more businesses will close down because without revenue, it's going to be very difficult to continue sustaining. But there will be new things which will come out. So keep your eyes open, ears open, and keep your mind open most of everything.
Excellent, Farida. I think you made the moot point here that, there will be new opportunities. And I think one thing that I like a lot is, you mentioned about digital ambassador. I think there is a clear need for this. And I personally, as a professional, feel that there are a need for a new type of role in the industry, which is something like digital ambassador. And I think, let me invite our third guest for this discussion is, Kanchan works with universities in India and schools. What I've noticed is that almost like every second or third day, there is a new app coming related to some sort of training or education. But, all these apps are available. There are Byju's and there are so many others already available. But are the school adopting it? So my question to Kanchan would be that, our business leaders have already described that there is a group of people which could be very large in numbers, is in denial. And there are opportunities available in some other arena, but the education and university, are they training their students to leverage these opportunities? So Kanchan, what is your opinion on this one?
Well, CK, these are quite crazy times because there's pandemic and people are suffering. But I will take a little a positive approach towards this because uh, in previous months we have seen the most loss happen only in leisure and hospitality industry. According to one research, it is 47% job loss happen in hospitality. But as I said, I will be taking more positive view because and little India centric, though many countries are working and fighting for this kind of jobless and people management. But what I feel, we have two great options which is introduced by government of India. One is Make in India and one is Modern India. So when we talk about Make in India, then there's a lot of companies who are setting up their companies in India, and thus it is creating a lot of job opportunities. Now when we talk about Modern India, the government is also stressing on digitization of many services. Now for example, if I have quoted hospitality, so hospitality industry is closed, but there are chefs who are running their education courses online. So then they have the opportunity, and they are moving towards making something good. So I believe that though there's a job loss, but then as Farida said, you have to be open your eyes and you have to open your ears to find out where the job opportunities are there. I feel there's little pause phase now going on, but it'll kickstart.
So Kanchan, I think I just continue asking on this path where there are opportunities and people have to reskill. But I think we have discussed in the past in this program where we have already pointed out that the skill which are required are not being taught by the universities. And what we see, at least in India, I can talk about that the schools are still waiting and watching. They are in that denial mode. I think they, as per the Naval's category, all the schools in India are in denial funnel. They are not looking at the aspects that you pointed out. For example, if you look at the investment by Google in Reliance Jio, $5 billion of investment, they want to develop indigenous 5G platform. So when 5G comes, the chefs who are running their education courses will have a ball on this platform because they can run multiple things with a lot of creativity. But the education is still lagging behind. They are in denial. What is your advice to these people?
I think because they are denial because they are looking for a better time to come. They want that maybe the time which were before pandemic, it will come. But I think things have, water has flown and things will not be changing for a longer time. So maybe sooner or later they are struggling. Actually, many schools are struggling with the technology and with digitization. But I again said I am quite positive that they will overcome, because in every industry there are some people who don't like change. There are some people who like change, and generally people and the management who like change always win. So I'm quite hopeful for that.
Neville, mankind is a very resilient species, and we are going through, like you already mentioned, that unprecedented. You might have heard so many times, but I think let me use this word again, that the mankind is a very resilient species, and they are going through this unprecedented times. What do you think is the takeaway from this discussion? What people really should do to get out of the denial mode?
Well, they're going to have to look in the mirror and make sure that they know where they are, whether they're in chaos, in denial, or they're actually doing something about it. It's been a fascinating discussion already, and this is such a big topic. What we've got to remember is that COVID really has just accelerated all these thought processes. They were already there prior to COVID. The education business gap was there. It got bigger during COVID, to my surprise, mainly because universities have gone more into denial. They've been more focused on improving their own digital presence. And remember, we're in the fourth revolution, which is digitization. And Farida mentioned this one word that is used quite often, but actually not really understood. And before I say what that word is, the World Economic Forum has for the last 4 or 5 years been publishing lots of future job profiles. And they published just before COVID the future of jobs in the next 5 years. And they were saying basically that 40% of jobs are not even identified today. So maybe your insurance company that's looking at lots of freelancers, there you go, there's the word. We're going to become a global community of freelancers. There's no more jobs for life. There's never been jobs for life, actually, since I got a job, frankly, which was many, many years ago. You're going to freelance for a period of time. You may be under contract, but I can see organizations literally moving towards fixed term contracts for everybody. Now that's just, I don't know any facts apart from a few organizations, large organizations that I've seen move in this direction. But the freelance community is going to be huge. It's huge already, frankly, but it's going to be much, much bigger. And this is where job seekers, you've got to get out of this denial arena. You've got to look online, go to respected resources. Don't follow the shiny objects and fake news. Ignore all that. Look what governments are saying officially on their notice boards. Look what the best employers are saying on their notice boards. It's there, it's evidenced. All you've got to do is go and look at it and start thinking. Because sooner or later you will see that the evidence will actually start to change your belief. And that's a good situation because now you're getting a kick of reality, not a perception. Perception will keep you in denial or in chaos. The kick of reality will narrow you down this middle road, let's call it, having the right attitude and being in control of your own destiny. So my advice to everybody is start reading. Start Googling, but don't look at fake news. Don't look at the shiny objects. And certainly don't follow government leaders because, frankly, a lot of them are bouncing around saying they're in this middle road, but they've got no idea, some of them. They're feeling their way. And I feel for them, actually, because, again, sadly, these are unprecedented times.
So there you go. You mentioned that once again. But I think some of this stuff that you mentioned is very important. Is one takeaway for me personally is never believe the politicians, because among humans, they are the most opportunistic people. So we have to look for ourselves, not be in denial, don't get cue from the politicians. So with this, I'd like to ask Farida, any closing remarks from you?
Yeah, sure. I will just actually kind of, take a little bit further what Neville was saying and try to, articulate it in my way. If it helps people, it's fantastic. So sky is not the limit, it's just the view. So basically when you actually talk about freelancers, I'm specifically talking about the gig economy. Now that's something that's going to be huge. The reason being, like Neville was saying, there are no longer going to be secure jobs. So I would break it down that there would be tasks and there would be people who would actually perform those tasks, and there would be people who need these tasks performed and they would be willing to pay for it. So there are professionals, there are, even if there are, there are people who have been in a job for very long, they've been cocooned as an employee, suddenly they are in middle of everything, this pandemic, and they realize that it's not going to be easy to find something. So keep an open mind. go to respected resources, see what is it that can leverage your skill, because still work is happening. Industries which are very badly impacted are, aviation, hospitality, luxury, to an extent retail. But then, there is work happening, like e-commerce is growing because that's the only avenue where people are actually shopping nowadays. Hospitality is not like, for countries like Singapore are trying to do local tourism boost. So something is happening, but it's not going to go back to the pre-COVID times very soon. So keep an open mind, look at what other avenues are available. There should be opportunities which can actually utilize a skill set you perhaps have not used for a very long time. And it might actually just come into use right now. Maybe you're very good at writing and you haven't done it for a while, and there are copywriters which are needed all the time across so many platforms. So keep an open mind, there will be opportunities. It's dark, but then waiting for the gold, don't miss the silver lining.
Absolutely, very well summarized, Farida. In fact, one of the takeaway for me and for my viewers is that somebody has taken your job, because the jobs are just around the corner, as from the panelists we realized, but nobody can take away your career. So all you have to do is look around and see what are the new opportunities. So with this, I'd like to thank all the panelists today, Neville, Farida and Kanchan. Thank you very much for joining us.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello friends, this is Akulmach Live and my name is Chandrakant. Today is the International Yoga Day. It is a very important day, and yoga, as you know, is very good for improving your health, physical health as well as mental health. And to discuss this aspect of yoga, we have a special guest joining in our studio. So we will start our discussion with this special guest who is joining us from UK. Welcome back, friends. And today, to discuss yoga, we have a very special friend in our studio. He's joining us from UK, Mr. Neville Gund. Welcome to the show, Neville. How are you?
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, very well. Very, very well. It's a new week, or start of a new week. And I looked up my calendar today and I see it's International Yoga Day. Did you know that, CK?
Of course, I know, because I'm a student of yoga. I have got a diploma certificate when I was 18 years old, and I have practiced very deep yoga during my young age.
Oh, fantastic. And do you practice it now? Do you continue the practice of yoga?
Not now, Neville, but I would like to do that. It takes a bit of time, actually. It's not an easy and quick exercise. It takes about more than 90 minutes to actually have some effect on the micro muscles.
I've got you. But let's just take a walk back into history. Let's tell the viewers just an overview, really, but where yoga came from, what it is, what it does. So over to you, CK. You start the conversation off.
All right. So, as the mythological belief system of Indians, yoga as an art was invented by our god called Lord Shiva. And he invented all the forms, taking inspirations from the animals. So most of the yoga exercises are imitating the animal position. So for example, you can be a peacock and there is a peacock formation. it's quite tough to become a peacock. It's one of the most difficult exercise that we have. And in yoga, so for every animal there are different forms, different different things that you need to become like that animal. And the most important part in yoga is that whatever form or asanas, as we call them, you create, you have to be in that position for like 5 minutes. So you can't form, with your body that animal and then you immediately come out, because to stay back is the real exercise. Stay back as long as possible. So, and that strengthen your body from within. It strengthens your bones, it strengthens your muscles, and yoga as an exercise work on the micro muscles, which all the gyms ignore. So if you go to any gym, and if I have to compare usual exercise that we do today, it concentrate on the showy muscles like biceps, triceps, your abs, your back muscle, and thigh and all that. Whereas yoga actually works on the micro muscles which are within these larger muscles. So people used to follow yoga. The history is almost 10,000 years, and Indian history is also 10,000 years as the oldest surviving civilization continuously. So we still follow yoga, and fortunately today is the longest day also, and today has been discussed, has been declared the yoga day also by United Nations, thanks to our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, who has been practicing yoga from his childhood. So he actually took all the benefits to United Nations and persuaded them to declare 21st of June as the Yoga Day.
Well, that's a fairly good overview, and it's good that the Prime Minister practices this even at his ripe old age that he currently is. Now, the interesting thing about yoga, as you were speaking, it's the micro muscles, and I think, irrespective of whether it's you're going to take the shape of a leopard or a lamb, you're building those underlying muscles that actually allow you to build up the outer muscles. And it reminded me, as you were saying, that I did a lot of weightlifting when I was younger at university. Through playing rugby and playing football, we were encouraged by our coaches to do that muscle gain, if you like. But I would regularly get lots of injuries because my outer muscles were pretty strong, but it was my inner muscles, those micro muscles, that were underpinning the bigger, stronger muscles that were pretty weak. And it was only when we actually got someone who, and this was after I'd left university and gone into the semi-professional arena, that actually came into the club and went through some maneuvers, which I now know are yoga. It wasn't introduced as yoga because, let me tell you now, if it was introduced as yoga 40 years ago to a football club, I think they'd probably been shown the door. But it was a movement class, and it was really fascinating how we were building up those inner core muscles and making them stronger. And the irony about all of this was all of my back pain just went away because I'd built up that inner strength. And I think that's one of the real benefits, actually, of yoga, because if you build up the inner core and you build up those micro muscles, the rest of it is pretty easy to do. As I say, you can lift weights, you can go on a run, but you must build. It's a bit like building a house. If you build the foundation pretty poorly on substandard materials, then the house will fall down. So that's why I like yoga. I don't know whether you've ever heard that before, but that's why I like it, because it actually builds on the foundation, really, of helping your body along. What do you think of that?
Absolutely, Neville. In fact, the trick of doing yoga is that it does not take too much strength of yours, but you have to continuously doing it, and that is a very difficult part. Say, for example, you talked about rugby. You have to do a pace running. That is very difficult. It looks very easy, but you can't do it for more than 10-15 seconds. Do pace running. So similarly, yoga, when you do things, it looks very simple, but if you have to get the benefit out, you have to be in that position for like 10 minutes, and that's very, very difficult, and that is what consumes a lot of energy. So people who wants to get slim, lose weight, yoga is the best exercise for them. And you also mentioned about yoga being introduced to the club 40 years back, but if you look at the cricket clubs today, they actually train their cricketers and make them play football. You see, they don't all the time practice cricket. Actually, most of the time they are playing football. So it's like building stamina. And when we talk about stamina, and that is what yoga does, it actually builds your stamina. Then there are exercises. There is an exercise called Surya Namaskar. So Surya is the meaning of Surya is sun, and Namaskar is you're actually worshipping sun. Now this is one of the most difficult series of steps that you can do. It involves 7 steps, and if you do one, it'll take one step. It'll take hardly 3-4 minutes to complete the entire regime. But people tend to do 25 times, 30 times, 100 times, and it is a complete body exercise. If you go to a gym, they will say, hey, can you do a circuit? But Surya Namaskar is a circuit, which actually in between you will be bending down, touching your toes, and then become like a snake in between. You're just doing that smoothly like a dance, then come back again, and then go back with your hands going back all the way. So it's a complete stretch. So yoga, I would define is like taking stretching to a different level altogether. And you lose a lot of weight because of doing yoga.
No, it's brilliant. I mean, and these days I do a little bit of yoga. I don't know a great deal, but I will be getting more and more into it because it does build up. It's that repetition, and like I say all the time, any practice makes permanent, but it's only the right practice that makes perfect. And I think that's what yoga teaches you to do, really. It's that right practice. And I think it sets us up for lots of other good things in life. And the nice thing about it, the other thing about yoga is I'm sure you've been in this situation many times before. Because you're repeating and repeating and repeating, you're quite tired after you've done the session. And as you say, if you're going to do it properly, it's about 90 minutes. Frankly, I'm doing about 10 or 15. So my limit will probably be about 30. But that's 30 minutes more than a lot of people do. So, and it's something you can practice at home. You don't need, even today, you can go onto YouTube and there's lots and lots of videos that you can follow from highly qualified yoga experts. So you don't have to literally, you can't ever get excuses. Well, I can't get down the gym. You can do this at home. You can do this during the lockdown. I think that's the message we need to be given to people today. You can do lots of things at home to improve your body, improve your mind, improve your nutrition, and that will make you actually a healthier person and live longer, because that's what we all want to do, don't we?
Well, in fact, Neville, I want to also add to what you're saying is, especially about yoga. It's basically done with for the best results. You have to follow the chants, and these chants actually sounds like religious chants, but in reality, it actually controls your breathing. So you can just remember these chants and don't think about the religion, because obviously those are religious chants. But if you do the yoga properly with chanting, then these chants will automatically control your inhale and exhale activities, and that is the best for your best result. Because sometimes when you're doing that, making that form, you have to exhale and inhale, and it has to be done very slowly. So these chants basically control that rhythm, and duration, how much time you will be exhaling, how much time you will be inhaling. I think that is a key part of yoga. So even us, Indians don't remember. I don't know any chants actually, if you ask me. But I know the theory that if you do it with chants, it has the best results.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think I do seem to recall that the chanting gets you into the rhythm. So you're sort of synchronizing what you're doing as well, which just like singing, it gets you into a rhythm. And don't be too concerned whether these are religious chants or otherwise. It doesn't make any difference. Actually, it's just helping you along. But it's a fascinating arena. We're just scratching the surface today on this International Yoga Day. But it's a great sport, if you like, for everybody to do, no matter what age you are. It's a bit like golf. You can play golf at any age. As long as you can hit a ball, you're fine. Well, a bit like yoga. As long as you can bend over, you're fine.
Well, Neville, one more thing I'd like to tell you is that the whole mental health arena is linked to your mind, as we all know. And there is no control. When we say that, hey, I'm CK, my name is Chandrakant, you are Neville. But then it's just what your mind perceives you to be. So you have absolutely no control on your heart and your mind, because there is no connections. You can lift your hand because your mind is telling you to lift your hand. But how do you basically practice to control mind? So in yoga, they say that the only thing which affects, which you can control indirectly your mind, is your breathing, because it affects these areas. And this is a point where there are two lobes of the brain. Actually, it's like an empty area. So they say that this point is most important, where by breathing and concentrating on this point, you can probably reach to certain level of mind control. And if you're able to do mind control by controlling your breathing, you can probably control your heart. So there are people who actually bring their heartbeat down to almost 20. These Buddhist monks, they actually bring it down to almost 10 a minute. By just controlling, they get into that trance, reducing their breathing maybe 3 times a minute, and they bring down their heart rate. And that is why they live very long. I mean, if you look at the people who are living in Himalayas, especially very high up, where you and I can't survive because of lack of oxygen, these guys live comfortably and they have a very long life. When you are probably young, Dalai Lama was the king of Tibet, and he still is. After so many years. When this happened, I was not even born, but I am seeing Dalai Lama still kicking and doing very well, whereas so many other leaders have gone. So I think that is something that I wanted to add here also, as part of a mental exercise which yoga helps you to develop.
Oh, it's certainly all encompassing. I mean, it's the mental exercise. You get into that zone, and once you've been there, you suddenly realize where you are, and it's a wonderful feeling, actually, if you've ever been there. It's a bit like being in the zone when you're really enjoying yourself doing your everyday work. If you really enjoy what you're doing, and you then look up at the clock, and all of a sudden you see that 2 hours have flown by. And that's what this can do. So it's been a fascinating discussion this morning, especially for the beginning of a week. As you say, I didn't realize it was the longest day as well. I thought it was the 25th was the longest day, but clearly it might be the longest day for different parts of the world. I don't know about that, actually. Never thought about it. But it's been a fascinating discussion today, CK. Thank you very much for introducing the subject, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, friends. This is Akulmach Live, and I'm Chandrakant. This video is sponsored by Performance Works International. More about them in a bit. Today, we want to discuss something about which is latest. It is going to affect all our life, and it is called quantum computing. What is so different in quantum computing, which is not there in our usual computers? We will discuss this after a short break. But friends, I must remind you that we are live across all popular social media. And if you're watching from whichever part of the world, from whichever social media, you can use a chat function to engage with us. Send your questions and comments. We will display them straight away on our screen and address your queries. So before we start our discussion, a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Performance Works International.
Are you ready for the challenges facing the modern workplace? Recent events have taught us the importance of transformation. Businesses now face a perfect storm of challenges. No business is too big to fail, and many are too slow to succeed. Our workforce is changing fast. We're entering a new age of empowerment, and everyone can contribute. The Inner CEO reveals how we can all play a part in making leading at all levels a reality. Written by Jeremy Blaine, an expert on business transformation and growth, it provides a roadmap to help everyone unleash their inner CEO and contribute beyond their job role, whatever their level. Traditionally, strategy has been owned by the few. Now it's time for the many to contribute. Leadership must come from a broader base. Everyone has the potential to step up and make things happen. It's a new model of collective and collaborative leadership which unleashes the power of people, enabled by appropriate technology and a supportive management structure. The book provides a roadmap for a bold new age of empowerment. Supported by a range of resources, the book provides a toolkit to help anyone unleash their inner CEO. Organisation health, development and growth is owned at all levels. Are you ready to unleash the inner CEO?
Welcome back, friends. And quantum computers are going to solve our problem of future, and which will propel us to the new era of mankind. Is it true? Well, it may be. So we will actually try to understand what is quantum computer and how does it work. Is it much more powerful, or is it something different? So I think first we need to understand what is the computer itself. Computer is a bunch of switches which can switch on and off, and that gives a logic in terms of if there is a command given, it could be right or it could be wrong, and based on that, 0 and 1 is assigned by the computer. And this is basically what it does. And then by codifying what information is coming from the computer, you are able to make some logical conclusions out of it. And another thing that you also need to do is you need to put some logic gates after you have received your responses from the computer. And these logic gates could be different kinds, and some of these logic gates are and, or, etc. So then you can decide the problem that you are actually dealing with and how it is being computed. So once you're able to add things and subtract things, then you can pretty much do everything. And why I'm saying this, because this mathematics is the logic behind the whole normal computer that we use in our houses, calculators, mobile phone, etc. The CPU basically does a lot of computing, but these are all very simple computing problems. The only good part here is that if there are too many computers working together, then the sky is the limit. You can pretty much solve whatever problem you want to solve, because there are many computers working, many small computers working together. Now, we understood this in 1950s, and we started building more and more compact CPUs, and today the CPUs are so compact that the width of a transistor is not more than a couple of atoms. And since now we're talking about atoms, we have to get into quantum physics, because quantum physics, as we know, is the science of the small. The Einstein theory, which changed the physics, is basically explain things very well. In fact, absolutely accurately for larger things. But when it comes to small things like atoms, electrons, neutrons, protons, etc., Einstein theory and the physics is no good. We need to follow a certain different type of science, which is called quantum physics. And what quantum physics does is basically explain how these particles behave. So I will come to that, but let's finish the regular computer that we use today. And the regular computer will then signify all alphabets and all numbers and all possible combination into zeros and ones. And once it calculates that, and it passes through the logic gate, all these zeros and ones, we can then understand some sort of answers out of what we are trying to do here, what we are trying to compute. So so in nutshell, just to summarize, the computation that we do today is more number of computation that more than human brain can do in a shortest period of time, because we are now using electronics, and therefore it can calculate faster than human brain. But these are all very simple mathematics, like adding, subtracting, divide, etc. These are very, very simple mathematical situations. However, because many transistors are working together, they are able to solve day-to-day life. So where this quantum computing and how quantum computing is different. So quantum computing is actually using quantum mechanics instead of using your binary system to calculate. That is a basic difference between a normal computer and a quantum computer. What is quantum? What is quantum mechanics? It's basically it's about the particles behaving very abnormally, not like physical world, where they can exist at the same time at two locations. So that is the first problem. And that means until unless you start looking at the particle, you will not know what is its speed, which direction it is spinning, and where it is heading. Moment you look at it, that value of that particle is frozen. And that is where the quantum mechanics explains that as long as you measure the thing, it can be anything. It can have any value, but if you decide to measure it, it will have certain value, which you think is the voltage of an electron, is like 5 electron volt. Value of certain a certain weight of a certain object is so and so. So the quantum mechanics says that weight can be anything until you decide to measure it. It could have many values, and it could have even infinite values sometimes. That is why quantum mechanics is a very, very mind-boggling concept. But it has been proven time and again when it comes to atoms and subatomic particles. The quantum mechanics is the only part of science which can explain the actual nature of the universe. And the computer scientists now have realized that they have reached the ultimate level of reducing the size of the transistors, and they cannot go below this, because now the transistor size is couple of atoms, and when the electrons are being transmitted through these chips, they start showing quantum tunneling effect. So what is this quantum tunneling? Quantum tunneling is and quantum entanglement. See, it's like this. In the atomic world, when you have two attached particles, if there are two particles which are attached with each other, then one particle will have a positive, let's say one particle has a positive current and other one has a negative current. So what happens is that now they are together, but then you take them apart. One particle, you take one particle, because it's a pair, so you separate them and you think that you have separated them, and one particle you take it to the moon, and one is in your laboratory and on Earth. Now you know that the laboratory particle which is there is the particle which is having negative charge, and the one you have taken on the moon has a positive charge. Now you play a game here. You actually flip the charge of the particle which is with you on in your laboratory. Then moment you change that particle, charge of that particle here on Earth, you will notice that the charge flip automatically, and the charge of the positive particle on the moon is now negative. So this is called entanglement. You can take them very far off, and in fact the effect of this entanglement is breaking the law of physics as per Einstein, because the effect of between two particles is traveling faster than speed of light. So it's one of the big question which is not answered completely right now, but this is how the nature of these particles are. That means these are entangled, and you can take them to a next galaxy, still they will be entangled, and if you do something to one particle, the other will also get affected. So that is one thing. And second thing is tunneling, which is basically particle getting into superposition. So when we say superposition, is basically you can't find out what these particles are up to at that point, and they can be you cannot determine what is their speed, what is their position, and that is why it is called superposition. They can be anywhere, they can have any value, but if you start looking at them, start measuring them, then they will suddenly have a value. So this is where these are the two properties of quantum mechanics which are used in developing the quantum computer. So instead of zeros and ones in a normal computer, here if you have say for example, if you have a 32-bit quantum computer, then you can have 32 combinations instead of only 2 combinations, and the possibilities of finding the answer is increased 32 times. So you can imagine, by not increasing the power of the chip of the computer, you are now increasing the possibilities of possible solutions. So that is why quantum computers are much faster, because they can calculate things parallelly, and instead of increasing the size of the chip, that means many computers working together, it is the same small computer can do many things together. So if there is a 64-bit computer, then it can calculate a variety of problems at the same time. It will have variety of solutions. Say you give them one problem can have multiple solutions. It's one of those solutions you might have seen in Marvel Comics, where Doctor Strange tried to find the solution of Thanos. What if they are able to stop him? And he goes around parallel universe, and he found only one. So it's like he is like a quantum computer, where he is checking all possibilities together, and he found one answer. So instead of using the regular computer, which will have only either state of 0 or 1, they will have multiple states, and then you will get your answer faster. Now, what are the applications? Will quantum computer going to replace your home computer, home PC, your mobile device, etc.? No, because our computers that we use right now are very efficient, and they're very fast. So this is not where the quantum computer will be used. Quantum computer will be used in analyzing the problems which are very big, very complex. For example, providing online security. Quantum computer can play a role in generating algorithms which cannot be cracked by anything. So because you will not know what is the answer. So if you don't know what is the code, because right now we are based, our whole security is based on 128-bit encryption. The defense security will be based on 256, which is, people say even 128 is not breakable, but you can still break it because there is a chance to break it. But in case of quantum computer, you can't even predict any keys, because your primary key can be anything, your secondary key can be anything, because now it's all in the quantum world. So I think that is one of the big application, crypto security, solving the puzzles which we have not been able to solve with regard to universe, simulating these situations. So quantum computers are very good in simulating situations. Quantum computers are also very good in solving the medical sciences challenges and things like that. So these are the applications for quantum computers which will be used where quantum computer will be used. So it's a different category of computer devices. It is not going to be used by people like you and me for our personal use. It will be used by very complex tasks and very complex situations, simulations and stuff like that. So needless to say that quantum computer are not, in terms of hardware, are not more powerful than what we have today. They have about the same power, but they can do trillions of calculations at the same time compared to our current computers. That is why the large data search engines will be based on quantum computer. Their cybersecurity will be based on quantum computing. When it comes to large data analysis, the current computer basically makes the index file and look at the index, then look at the database, or go sequentially, which is very outdated now. But quantum computer can check all your details at the same time, so it is much faster in terms of searching the data of any kind. So in terms of providing security, identifying biometrics, quantum computers will be very quick. Identifying solution to a very complex problem, quantum computer will be very quick compared to our supercomputers even today. So this is something which makes them different. As I said, in order to develop the quantum computer, we have bits, and scientists are call the bits in the quantum computing world as qubits, which is about the same. It has the same meaning. But say for example, if you have 32-bit processor, the 32-bit processor in the quantum computing world can calculate a million calculations, while a regular computer can calculate only few. So I think that is where the difference of the processing speed will come in, and the quantum computer use the quantum nature of our universe, and so basically this is why it is much faster, and that is why it is the next phase of progress in computing devices. Now the big question is, how does this look like? So the computer does not look like anything that we have seen. The computer looks like what you see here in the picture behind me. Why? Because since minute fluctuation can also affect the quantum computer. Minute fluctuation in the space, a cosmic ray particle can change the calculation. So that is why the quantum computers are usually kept very cold, and they are surrounded by a very cold environment with liquid nitrogen. They are actually always, the temperature is controlled. They're kept very cold so that there are no quantum entanglement or quantum tunneling that happens to the computing devices themselves. They can actually use the quantum tunneling for calculating and quantum entanglement for calculating, but it should not happen that it start giving wrong information, wrong calculation. So quantum computers are always kept at a very cold temperature, and so it requires a totally different kind of setup, different power source, and different way of doing things. It has a totally different logic. It has a different programming matrix. It is used for totally different activity. So friends, hope you like the basic differences that I told in like 15 to 20 minutes, where I wanted to give you a basic difference between normal computer and a quantum computer, because we have been hearing a lot about it. You can engage with me by sending a message from your social media. Before I go, a big thanks to our sponsor, which is Performance Works International. Their book, Inner CEO, is a very, very important book. I think it has a lot of tricks and tips for chief executives, whether you are a startup or even an enterprise. This is a book which is required and is a must read by everyone. So with this, I like to say goodbye. By the way, you can book your copy by clicking on the link in the description below. And I like to say goodbye, only to catch you next time. Hello friends, welcome to Akulmach Live, and our section today is Likeable Leader, and we have a very eminent personality joining us from India. Her name is Aditi Palit. She is a very well-known leader, expert in the area of learning and development. So she will actually tell us about her journey as a leader. So without further ado, let me welcome her. So welcome to the show, Aditi. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing fine and hope you're doing fine too.
It is a pleasure to talk to you, Aditi. In fact, a lot of our viewers would like to know how you became a leader as you are today. And would you like to tell our viewers about your journey as a leader? What made you Aditi Palit of today? What is your experience? So we would like to know from you about those.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to go back way behind during my school days. I've always been a leader. I was a front ranker at academics. I took part in athletics, drama, quiz, whatever I did, I won the first prize by the grace of God. And that carried on my college. And then I decided that I would, become an HR professional. So I did my PGDM HR and I joined HCL, Hindustan Computers. There was a group of 50 contestants and I was selected by the HR from Delhi at HCL. So there I was, given the portfolio of regular HR functions. And among them, everybody told me that I was a born trainer. in those time, it was just called training, trainer. Now it become coach and, facilitator, etc. Now, after that, with the advance of time and marriage and childbirth, I had to, leave that regular job. And then I thought that why not start on my own? When I had all the, credentials, and I wanted to give, my abilities to all the organizations instead of being limited to one. And therein, I started my journey as an independent coach. Over the years, I have trained in almost all the leading corporates and MNCs in Kolkata, my city, in Pune, and up to Guwahati. And this has been a fascinating journey because I have always got a very good feedback, a highly satisfied feedback from my trainees, because they feel that I'm really their friend, philosopher, and guide. And I would like to add that, even if I've trained them 10 years, 12 years back, they're still in touch with me.
Well, Aditi, in fact, most of us know you, and because we might have crossed our paths, and you had such an illustrious journey, such a long career, and you have not only worked with people in Kolkata and the Northeast, but also rest of the India. And you might have seen so many changes happening in the industry. So what are these transitions? And does these transitions help you shape up your journey also as a leader?
Actually, absolutely. See, it's been a journey of 2 decades, more than 2 decades. So as I said, when I joined, it was just a very mechanical kind of imparting or executing the HR portfolio. But one thing good was that the human aspect was given the maximum importance. Now, through my journey, and especially during the pandemic, as we all know, technology is almost taking over. Now, from my point of view, I feel that, even if the apps and the softwares are taking precedence, but we must remember that they are being invented and run by human beings. So the human resource is and will always be the most important aspect of any organization. So I would love that to see where technology is taking a little bit of a backseat and the humane aspect is given that most importance by the leaders and managers.
Well, Aditi ji, you have already answered my next question, and that is about the changing scenarios. And as we actually work in the industry, the scenario keeps changing every 3 to 5 years. And you've already answered that because you're talking about that the human touch is so important and technology is just a facilitator. So I think that is a message which we have got today. What is the most important achievement of your life, which you feel very close to your heart, and you felt that this is something that I've achieved and this is the ultimate achievement for you as a leader? Would you like to share that today with our viewers?
At the cost of repeating myself, I would say that, I have really touched lives. It's been shown by the fact, as I said, my trainees are in touch with me. They, before the pandemic, they should, invite me for their marriages and for their, children's birthday parties. And also that when I also do a lot of campus to corporate trainings. And, these joinees in the corporates, they say that, because of my constant support and motivation and even pushing them beyond their limit, that they have achieved, their heart's desire of being inducted into the best of the companies. So I would now the quote of saying that transforming lives, I have done it. I can proudly say that I have done it.
Aditi, from your point of view, what is the essential factor for shaping up of any leader today or even after 20 years? What is the most essential factor for a leader from your point of view? We would like to know from you.
As this is what I've been doing before. I'm into leadership training, and the pandemic has thrown open this aspect is empathy. It really means that you understand that why a team member is not performing, as per your expectation. As a leader, and now that I'm grooming leaders, I would like to say it is the leader's failure to, to motivate, even, to understand the lacking of the employees, of their team members, if even single team member does not perform. So that should be the, and the pandemic has shown that, you are going to the, the lives. Now, the thin barrier between the, working hours and the recreational or personal lives hours have, almost thinned. So the leader has to constantly find out whether, there has been a lot of mishaps, tragedies in the lives of the employees. Maybe that is happening. Maybe a team member is insecure about the technology that the manager is expecting him to adopt and follow. Virtual meetings, virtual, submitting of the targets. These are a big challenge to those who are not tech savvy. And I understand very well, because that's one area where I'm also a little weak. So the manager has to be totally empathetic and, not issue orders and then pull to task any employee. If he's not doing deliberately, that is different. But as a manager, you should be able to take all your team members to fulfill the ultimate target.
Well, I think there is a lot of human side of it. In fact, working in an offline manner, the CEOs are now getting exposed to the personal life of their employees, and empathy. I think you mentioned these very powerful words, which is the human touch and empathy. So I think one question which is running in my mind is about how did you took the failure, because now you're training the leaders, you're training the trainers, you're training the go-getters, but in your personal life you have a journey as a leader. Did you had a failure in your life, and would you like to share what was the learning out of those failure, or one or two failure which is really which you can't forget? So something like that you would like to share?
Yes. I want to bring forward that, work-wise, I've been always very sincere. I've adopted to changes, etc. But my physical, well-being has always been compromised. I have a big health issue. I have survived from, a near fatal disease. At the point where my, post-graduation was completing, I'd given, I wanted to go abroad for higher studies. I was given 72 hours to survive, right up to several, operations, right up to last year where I had COVID, and I took sessions from the hospital bed. So it has pulled me, it has been trying to pull me back. Lesson that I have taught myself is, if I give in to failures, I am the one who suffers. The world will go on. Work will go on. There'll be other achievers. And if I sit and think that my luck is bad, then I'm going to be the loser. I always believe that it's inner motivation. You have to push yourself. and be an eternal learner, and be optimistic that as bad days are there, good days are sure to come also. You have to rise above failures.
Well, Aditi ji, hats off to you. I think you have summarized the very message for our viewers that never give up and always learn from whatever stumbling block you get in your life and whatever failure. So failure is nothing but another milestone in your journey. So let's change gear back to the business. And you know that the businesses are actually dependent on the investor community, whether whatever business, you know, even learning and development, education, or any R&D. What sort of role you see that going forward the investment companies should be playing to modify, to transform our industry? Do you have any opinion on this aspect?
Absolutely. I would tell, we have all seen that is investment is being carried on. Those who have adjusted, those organizations, especially the startups who have survived them. Another aspect of a leader, especially during the pandemic, which has been thrown up, is resilience. Resilience to face challenges and overcome, which I've done in my personal life also. That they are showing that to survive further, they need investments. Investments because the human resource, the human factor, employees have to be trained in the in the new age, new normal working, be it remote, be it hybrid, going back to office, whatever, upskilling, the words we are hearing, upskilling, reskilling, cross-skilling, everything needs investment. And those who I'm sure the crowdfunding has come to the forefront. We have a lot of examples like Byju's, isn't it, Oyos, they're all led by the millennials, and they've shown that with investment, which is vital, businesses are on the brink of surviving and going forward with the help of investors. So I'm sure the investors who have invested are getting back, maybe slowly, their returns. And we're looking forward to 22 to things becoming better if the finances are being put into organizational function.
Well, I think we had a very interesting learning session. I think we got some 3 keywords from this discussion, which is very powerful words: human touch, and now you're talking about resilience. So never give up, resilience. I think these are the learning from discussing, this aspect about your life journey. And also, I think it's a good motivational thing that you have given us today. A good lesson to our viewers, and all of us can learn from this. It was pleasure talking to you, Aditi ji. Any last words, any last advices for the budding entrepreneurs or even the youngsters who want to start their career? Anything that you want to give them as a message?
I would say to the budding, those who are I'm a career growth strategist also. Look for a mentor to whom you are the greatest asset, and your success is their success, who does not look at this. I believe I'm still fighting that, training and development, coaching, facilitating is a one of passion, and it's less of business. It is, of course, business, but we should so look for a coach or mentor, get trained by those who have made a name for themselves. And for businesses, things are going to look forward. We are getting good reports that India is doing quite well. If you look at the other third world countries, India is doing better economically, and we are all going to put our best foot forward, and we're going to spring back as the largest economy that is going to make a difference in the world scenario as far as business is concerned. I'm very hopeful, and we all have to keep this hope up.
Great, Aditiji. I think there was a major learning after talking to you, and we will catch up next time, and we will learn more new things from you in the sessions to come. You take care of yourself, and we will catch up next week, same time.
And thank you so much, sir, that you have given me this opportunity talk to, get my views across. Love to, yes, these are the verticals that I train on, coach on, they are, they're, immense. And they need a lot of discussions. I would encourage to get ideas from the millennials whom I train. I love to interact with them. And through your talk shows, interactions, I would love to get in touch with them. And thank you so much for this opportunity, wonderful opportunity.
So, viewers, it was a wonderful conversation. We learned about a leadership journey, and Aditi Palit will be joining us on a weekly basis, and he will be sharing her learning, her ideas about things that we need as CEOs, chief executives. So, don't miss out those sessions. I will keep you posted, but I'll like to say goodbye for today, only to catch you in the next one.
Hello friends, this is Chandra from Akulmach Technologies, and today I would like to draw your attention to the emails that your company or organization is sending to thousands and thousands and thousands of prospective buyers, and the return on investment on sending such emails is less than 0.0001%. All these emails are getting deleted. I personally delete hundreds of emails every day. I'm sure you're also deleting hundreds of emails. Some of the companies have set up the spam engines which filter all these emails out. Yet most of the industry feels that this is the only mechanism to grow your business, by sending emails, by flooding somebody email boxes, by talking about your technology, your white paper, etc. At the same time, as a organization, we also need to understand what market needs, and it's not what we are selling. So we have to bring to certain agreement between the buyer or seller, or demand or supply, where we bring these two parties together, where the demand is fulfilled by the supply. And it is not necessarily means that you keep sending emails. By sending thousands and thousands of emails every day, every week, you start generating business leads out of that. The reality is the cost of sending 5 email today, in today's money, is more than $2 to $3. And then suppose you send 50,000 emails, probably you will receive responses from only 100. So the efficiency of the system is now going down. I think the time has come for organizations to look at alternative methods of generating your sales leads. Then another thing that has happened in the field, that is the emergence of Me Too service providers, because the cost of providing different services and different sort of new generation activities, the time has come to also rethink their strategy in terms of how all different companies want to position themselves. If it is sort of a Me Too email that is going out, the chances are your email will get deleted. So the requirement of today's world is not to send emails by finding out new methods of communication with your prospects. Number two, offer something which is very appealing, and it is not Me Too. So you have to look at what are you doing today, and where you want to achieve, and by doing these activities that you are doing to achieve your goal. So to order to address these issues, we have created a platform which will solve many of these challenges, and it will give you a platform which will allow you to be more creative. You can reach out to your clients without spending a dime. You can reach out to your prospects without collecting the client database, building client database, building expensive sales and marketing campaigns. You can still appeal to them. The platform website is listed here, as you can see where my finger is. So I encourage you to visit this website and explore. This is a very low cost method where you can reach out to your prospects. You can create a differential for yourself. You can be non-intrusive. You can be creative. You can come out with new methods of communication rather than sending a HTML based emails using your CRMs and so on and so forth. So with these small messages, I would like to talk few things about my platform. The platform has two main features. One is it allows you to share your success stories and your ideas of innovation and so on and so forth, which necessarily may not be related to what you're offering, because if you sell yourself, if you sell your idea, it will result in a business for you where you can actually pitch in what you have. So you can actually think creatively and come out with an offering which is appealing to the prospects. So this platform allows you to do that. Second thing is it also allows you to your prospects to reach out to you directly without need of sending emails and building campaigns and building databases and so on and so forth. So it's a very, very intuitive method, low cost method to reach out to your prospects and also to your client, and it's non-intrusive, and you can come out with new methods of reaching, because you may think you would like to talk about your innovation. You may like to address your clients by way of a video. You would like to talk about your innovation in a group discussion, or you want to just write a lot of words and you distribute these documents. So all these things are available in our platform. So I invite you to experience this. Come to this website, explore functionality. Just in case if you have any question, reach out to me. My emails are also listed in the website, and then we can have a conversation. I will be more than happy to bring you on board. I will personally help you to get on board, how to use these functionality which are provided in the platform, and you can be more successful without spending a lot of money. So with this small message, I will look forward to you joining my platform, which will help you reduce your cost, increase your business, and it will give you avenue of reaching out to new prospects in a new way. Thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you.
Hello, welcome to Akulmach Live. I am Kanchan Verma, and today in this episode, we will be taking you to yet another great place of the world. And to talk about this wonderful place, we have a great guest, Mr. Siddesh Srivastav, who is a traveler, who is also a broadcaster and an IT professional. So let's welcome him. Hello, Sitesh. How are you doing today?
हेलो कंचन, किया तबाह तो दिल्ली ने भी बहुत बिस्मिल, मगर खुदा की कसम लखनऊ ने लूट लिया।
अरे वाह भाई वाह!
हिंदुस्तान का शहर लखनऊ हिंदुस्तान का नवाबी हिस्सा है, यहाँ की हर दो दीवार नायाबी किस्सा है। कैसी हो कंचन? हाउ आर यू?
I am fine, and I am so glued to this discussion today because Lucknow is a very wonderful city because there are so many cultures, so many streams, so many things which are associated with Lucknow. So I would like to know why Lucknow, which is the capital of Uttar Pradesh, is the capital of Uttar Pradesh. Why it is so important?
One thing is very clear from Lucknow's positioning in the map of India. It is close to Delhi, and it is close to the political decision making for thousands of years. In the ancient times, it was said to be gifted by Lord Rama to his brother Lakshmana. So from Lakshman we get the name. And in the modern times, from the Delhi Sultanate, it was from the Delhi Sultanate. It was under the Delhi Sultanate. Then it became independent, and then it became a part of Mughal Sultanate, Mughal Emperor. It became a province. In those days, it was called a Suba. And then when we see the British, adventures in that region, which is called as Awadh, that's where Lucknow gets modern Nawabs and the Nawabiyat culture, and the birthplace of Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb, the confluence of Ganga and Jamuna cultures together, and simultaneously ruled by the Hindu and the Muslim rulers during the British times. Finally, British annexed it. It was also one of the major cities of the 1857 uprising, Sepoy Mutiny. And it is also very important to note that the Lucknow as a city was also instrumental in some of the pivotal moments in the India's modern history, where Pandit Jawaharlal and Mahatma Gandhi and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, they came together, and the Naram Dal and the Garam Dal, they actually met in the Lucknow session of Congress, and they designed for a plan for an independent India. So yeah, I mean, Lucknow is a city, and you can see behind, it's an image of a Bhul Bhulaiya behind me, and it shows it as a layers, and this city can only be discovered through the layers.
Well, as you just mentioned that this is a city which is Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb, and I think that is kind of a mixture of two cultures, and you mentioned Hindu and Muslim. So one which I want to ask you, so only these two religions are the prominent in the development of Lucknow culture? And second, what is the influence of all these cultures in the art and architecture of Lucknow, and buildings and in the monuments which are currently situated in the city?
Kanchan, this is a multicultural city. As I said, the confluence of the Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb. It is known for its courtly manners, beautiful gardens, poetry, music, architecture. Talking about the architecture, in the modern Indian context, from 1700 and onwards, during the time of Nawabs, we see a lot of monuments here with Mughal architecture, Indo-Mughal architecture, like Imam Bada, Bhul Bhulaiya. Imam Bada, the central hall is said to be the largest vaulted chamber in the world, and for the galleries, only the woodwork of the entire structure is believed to be construction of this grand building was started somewhere in 1785. And visitors are strictly advised to take official guides to enter into this. Shahi Bauli is another attraction here. There is a grand Asafi mosque is here. And that is Bada Imambara. Then we have something which is called clock tower or Ghanta Ghar, as it is popularly known across the northern India. So, Hussainabad clock tower is a clock tower in the city, and it was built by, around 1881 by Nawab Nasiruddin. And, and that time it is very strange to know that it costed only around 1.75 lakhs of rupees. And then we have also very important, aspect of one place called British Residency. And that British Residency was the, important landmark during the 1857 uprising, where almost like 3,000 British inhabitants took shelter during that time. And interestingly, Begum Hazrat Mahal, one of the wife of the last ruler Wajid Ali Shah, she was holding court in 1857, and she gave shelter and strategic places to the rebellion, and she is known for this. And therefore, Chota Imam Bada, Rumi Gate, Ghanta Ghar, there are lots of astronomy building. Some was also constructed by one of the Nawabs. Is actually a wonderful place for the historians as well as the architectural students alike.
You just mentioned about Wajid Ali Shah, and I'm sure without I will not be able to continue this show without mentioning at least 2-3 lines about this wonderful Nawab of Lucknow. So, do you know about this Nawab? And I think he has contributed a lot when we talk about cultures and music of India. So, would you like to share some ideas about this particular Nawab, Wajid Ali Shah?
Well, Kanchan, my earliest memory of Wajid Ali Shah goes to a movie from Satyajit Ray, Shatranj Ke, which I have seen a long back, and on Doordarshan, when Doordarshan came, started doing the color, positioning. The television in the color television India came to India, and I had seen Shatranj Ke Khiladi, which is loosely based on the story of Wajid Ali Shah, who is shown as great a patron of the arts and lots of buildings and monuments and cultural advancement of the Awadh region and the Lucknow as particular. But at the same time, that movie also shows that how he kept on waiting for the British to actually finally annex the Awadh from him, Wajid Ali Shah. So one side, he is basically credited with the pinnacle of the Lucknowi tehzeeb or Lucknowi culture as such, but it was Wajid Ali Shah who actually gave it away to the British, and it was annexed, and he was sent to a virtual, prison in near Calcutta, and where he spent last of his lives. And while he was sent to Calcutta, it was one of Hazrat Mahal who took over in 1856, and she helped our 1857 rebellion. So yeah, thanks to that movie of Satyajit Ray that I got to know my first inkling about Wajid Ali Shah.
Well, I just want to add here that Wajid Ali Shah is responsible for creating Thumri, Babul Mora, Nahiya Chuto Jai. This is something which is very popular, and it's been included in many of the Indian movies. So definitely, I mean, we have to really maybe do a show on Wazid Ali Shah, the contribution of Wazid Ali Shah in the music industry and music domain. Going forward, I would like to ask you now, Lucknow, definitely, it has lot of parameters and it's a vast city. And there are many type of people. As you mentioned, this is a cosmopolitan place. So, how this city becomes cosmopolitan? How this demography of this particular city emerged as today we see?
So I would like to answer this by one another, Urdu couplet or sher. मासूम सी सुबह हसीन सी शाम होती है, यह लखनऊ है, यहाँ अदब सी रात होती है. So Lucknow is about its people. It is about its culture. It's about its confluence, and it is also steeped very, very deep into our modern Indian history and also ancient times. This city, the people, the moment you land in Lucknow, you start feeling that aroma of Lucknowi tehzeeb, Lucknowi culture, Lucknowi food, and the famous tagline Kanchan, मुस्कुराइए आप लखनऊ में हैं. That is the hallmark of this city and this people. And what to say about the food? We all know about the Malihabad Dasheri mangoes. We know about the kebabs. We know about its Awadhi cuisine, Mughlai cuisine, and kormas, and Nahari kulchas. And many chefs in India and abroad have made their names on of the Awadhi cuisine they serve. And so, I mean, where to start about Lucknow and where to end about it? I mean, you talk about chicken curry, chicken embroidery. You talk about zari and zardozi work. At the Kanchan, the modern Lucknow is also about software companies, Hindustan Aeronautics, Tata Marco Polo. It's a bus and a coach company. A lot of colleges and institutions, our famous IIM, Lucknow, and other La Martiniere College. And interestingly, I also learned, Kanchan, that Lucknow is actually one of the very famous bicycle-friendly cities of Uttar Pradesh. And it is taking its inspiration from Amsterdam. So, which is so interesting to know, the first city probably I am seeing about being so bicycle-friendly. And this is very, very interesting. And I mean, not to take away any credit of the lots of famous people, especially, the Urdu poets, Josh Malihabad, Kumar Barabankui, and many others, in Bollywood, Naushad Sahab, and many others in the Bollywood have actually donned the name from Lucknow. And let's not forget Kanchan, the mesmerizing but fictional but mesmerizing Umrao Jan.
Well, Lucknow definitely is such a vast thought process, if I can say, that it's difficult to really touch every point when we're talking about such a wonderful city of the world. But what are the places one can visit? Maybe suppose if I make a plan for a week. So what those crucial places that is must when you are going to visit Lucknow city?
Yes. So Kanchan, as you know me, being a history buff, I start looking from a city from the precincts of the modern history, modern historical vendor places, modern monuments. Also, I also always go and see the ancient places just to stand there and feel how the city would have been in its glorious days. And as you see in the video, the various images behind me, and these are some of the images where I have stood there and I have just thought about the place the Lucknow brings in the Indian parlance, in the modern and the ancient history. So you can visit, Bada Imam Bada, Chota Imam Bada. You can also visit the astronomy center. You can visit, some modern places as well. There are, it has been a really coming up city with lots of modern, urban sites, which makes it almost look like any other foreign city in parts of the town. But the reality of this place, is in its infancy, is in its, what you say, exotic nature of people. People you will still find, reciting Urdu poetry, and there are a lot of Kavi Sammelans, a lot of cultural activities that happen, and and politically it is also very sensitive, Kanchan. It is as we know, capital of Uttar Pradesh, just around 500 kilometers from New Delhi. So it definitely is a great political center of modern India. This city is also something which you must try to see this city while you are having its food. You can't separate the food, the culture, and the couture. So the dressings, the food, and the city visit, all of these things combined makes a very, very remarkable and cherished time in Lucknow. So please take a holiday season and go for at least 1 week to enjoy the city, and with the help of whatever guides you would like to use, like Lonely Planet or something else.
Well, as you mentioned, cuisine. So, what cuisine really you like, so that you can guide the viewers if they really want to, for vegetarians especially, because that is sometimes become challenge in many of the countries. I mean, outside the India. But I'm talking about Lucknow. So, what is that you really prefer that they should ask for when they are in Lucknow?
Well, Kanchan, this is all about Awadhi cuisine. This is all about the special cuisine of Uttar Pradesh, and especially about the Awadhi cuisine. And therefore, there were the royal bawarchis or chefs, or there were rakabdars, the royal chef. There was Awadhi cuisine that was developed by them. And, as I said, kebabs, kormas, nari kulcha, zarda, shirmal, rumali rotis, biryanis, and one of the very famous and actually legendary is the tunde kebab that is known not only in India but across the world. And because it is part of Uttar Pradesh, there is absolutely no challenge about the vegetarian food. And one specific thing about one special way of biryani is also known as tehri. It's a very specialized way of making. I can say it's like a semi biryani. It's a tehri, and that can be a vegetarian version as well as the non-vegetarian. And then street foods, chats, kulfi. Shirmal is a type of a sweet bread. Makhan malai is another famous sweet delicacy. It is only sold during the winters, and there has been a legend about that. When I think one of the Nawabs, probably it was Wajid Ali Shah, he became sick of the tobacco addiction, and those were the days of hookahs, and the Hakims or the Veds, or you can say the doctors of those days, advised him not to touch the tobacco, and how to do that for an addicted Nawab. And then, some sweets were developed in the shape of pan. So lai makhan or some of the pans, they were actually sweets made in the pan format so that the Nawab can eat it and feel. That became the hallmark of the Lucknowi food. And across the country, you sometimes nowadays, I being in Bangalore and other cities, sometimes chefs organize Awadhi cuisine festival time in the big hotels, restaurants.
So, lastly, I would like to ask you, what do you really think when we talk about Lucknow in one or two sentences? What do you really feel that Lucknow is equal to that, and it is the place, and no other place is equal to Lucknow?
Well, Kanchan, this city, as I have stressed, is a city of modern India where the modern India was shaped, which led to the fall of the British in India in 1947 and the Congress session. Ram Prasad Bismil, our great freedom fighter, who was put on trial for the Kakori conspiracy. That was in Lucknow. He was later charged and hanged in Gorakhpur prison. So this city is a very, very fascinating city, modern city. But this city's originality is in its sophistication, the polished attitude, the polished language. That is the hallmark of this city. And all I can tell you, Kanchan, while we are at the end of our show, that मैंने मोहब्बत की दुनिया नहीं देखी है, मगर लखनऊ सा शहर देखा है. That's all I can tell you, Kanchan.
As usual, it is so wonderful to talk to you, Sitesh. We'll be meeting again with some other city. Till then, bye-bye and you take care.
Thank you, Kanchan. Have a lovely day ahead.
Hello friends, this is Akulmach Live and I'm Chandrakant, and today is Friday and we thought we will have a little bit of fun. And when we talk about fun, I think we are trying to understand the common problem that all of us have, that is honking, and what this honking tells about your personality. To discuss this, I will be joined by my good friend from UK, Mr. Naval Gund. So I will take a short break. We'll join you back along with my guest. Don't go anywhere. Hey Naval, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Have you heard that today already? I have, and I haven't even been in the car. I've heard it from my study, where people just put their hand on the honk or their foot on the honk or whatever it is. So today we're going to be talking about being a happy honker. CK, are you a happy honker?
Come on, Naval, I'm an Indian. I love to honk. You know, honking is in my blood. I like to honk for no reason.
Well, the thing is, there is a reason, you know, and well, I don't think we're going to talk about the reasons today, But the thing about it is, when you look at people that do, press the horn, because it's a warning system. That's what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be telling people around you to wake up, or have a look at what's going on, because you may have missed it. So it's being a friend to other people. I mean, that's the starting point of this. It's that being aware, helping others be aware. Something's happening. You've seen it. Maybe the other person hasn't seen it. Does that make sense, CK? It's an early warning system?
Well, technically it is an early warning system, but we honk for no reason. I've seen people on the signal and their thumb is always pressing after every 5 seconds, pee, 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 for no reason. They are so desperate to get out, and they want to, so desperate to ask the driver in the front to get out of the way immediately, just get out, I need to go straight, and the light is still red, they keep honking. So I think what you said technically is right, but when it comes to practice, it is not so right, Neville.
Well, right or wrong, people honk. And I have noticed that the way people honk these days is changing quite a lot, really. Certainly in India, when I was out there, it was almost like it is part of your right. It's in the statute books. If you don't honk, there's something wrong with you. From little motorbikes that are out there that sound like Roadrunner, meep, 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 to the real big, horns that come with these huge lorries. Get out of the way, It's a bit like a train's coming through, or you haven't seen me. What on earth are you doing? But I wanted to have a little experiment, CK. Are you up for an experiment?
Yes, I'm your guinea pig, Neville. Shoot it.
Well, you're my honking guinea pig. I did a little experiment a few years ago, and I do this from time to time, whenever I'm bored, really. I was in traffic. Doesn't matter where I was. It was in Asia, that part of the world, and we were in some serious traffic. And all you could hear was honking. Can you just imagine, everyone going beep, beep, honk, honk, and the thing is, it was going on for so long, it was quite clear that some of these batteries were going to run down, because, a lot of the vehicles on the road in that particular area are not particularly well maintained. And you could just hear that as over time, it must have been 20 minutes, maybe twice as long as that, maybe 40 minutes. And you could actually hear some of the noises be muted. You know what it's like when a battery starts to run down, CK? And so I said to the driver, I said, let's just have a bit of fun here. And the driver was up for it. I said, do you know any popular music that you could, play out on your horn? And he said, I've done this with my children. It was a foreign language, so I had an interpreter. I've done this with my children before, and we've had a bit of fun. I said, okay, well, let's have a bit of fun now. So he just started to play a tune on his car horn. And it was really quite amazing, because as the tune became more repetitive, the people around our car sort of started to look over into the vehicle I'm hearing something that's got a melody now. It's not a me, 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 me. It's got some form of melody. And what happened was they stopped beeping their car. They took their hand off the horn. And more people were looking round. And the driver was having so much fun. He was adding the drums to it as well, bashing away on the steering wheel and hitting the horn. So he was having a whale of a time. So he was almost like a busker, a one-man band in his car with just this one horn, which had one tone. And then what we noticed, after 2 or 3 minutes, other people started to join in with the same tune. So it was almost like there was an orchestra playing in that one area. And of course, as lots more people join in, the noise goes up, and it was deadening out all of this other honking that was going on. Now, we didn't get out of the car and walk, a quarter of a mile up the road to find out if anyone else had started in. But the fact of life is everyone started to have a bit of fun, and they were smiling and laughing, and all the angst and aggravation about being stuck in traffic had been taken away. So have you ever done that in the car, CK? I've done it many times with the kids, and they love it. Have you ever done that in the car with your kids?
No, Neville, I have not done this because in India, what you get is you have a horn in the front, and you also have horn with connected to the reverse gear. So there are all kinds of melodies, you keep hearing, and these reverse gear horns are very melodious. It will play some famous Hindi movie song, and so some states have banned these reverse horns, but then there are 29 states, 1.3 billion Indians. You can't stop everyone. So honking is a big part of our culture, I think.
Honking is a culture. Yes, I've heard all of these. Be careful. This vehicle is reversing. This vehicle is reversing. Beep, beep. This vehicle is reversing. I mean, we get them all the time, really. And again, it's just a reminder that these are warning systems. These are warning systems. But if you're going to be stuck in traffic in future, just have a little bit of fun. If you really do feel as though you should be beeping away, then beep away to a tune and just see what happens to the people around you. I mean, I'm regularly, when I'm stuck in traffic, I don't beep away, but I'll have my music on. And if a particular song comes on where there's drums or trombone or trumpets or what have you, I'll be bashing away on the steering wheel. And I'm sure, many other people look over and think, whatever he's doing, we need to be away from him. So it's probably a good way to get people to get out of the way. But the point about today is be a happy honker. Because most people I see in vehicles where they've got the hand on the horn, it is this red lights ahead. I mean, you can't go anywhere, but they're taking frustration out on it, and you can see this sort of anger in their faces. But let's try and turn that today, just for a Friday. Let's turn that on its head and become a happy honker. What do you think? Can we run a competition of people that can literally on their phone record themselves honking away when they're stuck in traffic? And let's see if we can guess the tune.
Well, that's a very good idea. In fact, this session is live, and people who are watching, they can actually submit their clips if they have. Otherwise, they can submit it later. I think it will be very interesting for involvement of people. And I think most of the people are honking. I think they're used to honking. I'm sure there are a lot of motor mouth kind of videos people would have. They can submit it here and we can have a little bit of fun. But I think you made a very important point. I think on a serious note, when you see people honking, what it tells about their personality, I think that is something also is important, because people honk in a different way. Sometimes it's frustration, sometimes for no reason, as I said, and sometimes for actually sending a warning signal. So, what do you think? Different people, can you, put them in certain spreadsheet based on how they honk about their personality? What do you think, Neville?
Well, I'm sure people will try to do that. I think what we can find out, we certainly will know someone's personality if they really do put their hand on the horn and don't take it off. But the fact of life is, if you're stuck in traffic, if there's a red light in front of you, guess what? I really would like to go I would like to move forward. So anyone around me, if you're honking me to get out of the way, the real bad news is I have no choice. I have to wait for that light to change. I've been there many times this week, actually. This is the summer season of roadworks we have in the UK. Because it's good weather, and I say that very jokingly, because we've had thunderstorms and goodness knows what else over the last few weeks. But because it's good weather, there's lots of construction activity on the roads. And just locally, we've got temporary traffic lights. And the worst thing about temporary traffic lights is you don't know that they're going to be there. There's no advance warning. All of a sudden, you just see this traffic light on a road that normally you're traveling along and there's literally no speed limits. Well, no real speed limits. You know, you're going along at the usual 30 or 40 mile an hour, depending upon what the local requirements are. But on my road, it's a 30 mile an hour road. And you just don't expect to see a traffic light in front of you. Anyway, the traffic lights were there. And regularly, you know, even when I'm in the car or I take a walk around the corner every now and again, I will see people beep the person in front because they hadn't noticed the lights changed. And some people are so fast at getting on that honk. You know, our lights go from red, amber, and then green. So the red amber is green's coming, you know. But as soon as sometimes the red amber goes, I hear people get on the horn. You know, in other words, wake up in front. You know, it's about time you're moving. I'm a very important person. I need to be somewhere. You know, get out of my way. I've paid my taxes. I've paid my road tax. I need to be on my way. And that's the reality of what we've got here. So you can sort of extrapolate someone's personality by their horn behavior. So why not have everyone being a happy horner or a happy honker, as they say, or as we've just decided to call it, the new hashtag. Are you a happy honker? And then what we can actually find out is that everyone's happy. But the reality of life is they won't be. But, you know, what do you think, CK? Can we have happy honker trending just from this little fun on Friday?
I think we can have a happy honker trending because anyway nobody's driving nowadays, so we can do that. Otherwise it's quite annoying, you know. Keep hearing honking all the time is quite annoying, and the more you honk, that means more desperate you are, and that is the one trait that you get, you know. The person who's more desperate will honk more. And one more thing, Neville, even though it's a funny episode we are doing today, but I think honking will lead to road rage, because if the honking does not yield result as desired by the driver, the next step is basically he gets out of the car and gets into a rage kind of a situation. So I think we need to stop honking. While the episode name is Happy Honking, but I think we can talk about it during lockdown and we are all stuck in our homes because anyway nobody is driving. I think we should come out with a different kind of honking system, because it's a time for AI where the vehicles can be connected using some signaling process, and without making any noise you can just press the honk and the nearby cars can beep some light that there is some warning or stuff like that. So I think there is a time for innovation and we can get out of this usual honking, because I think this is medieval from our standard, you know. People were doing honking 100 years back, we are still honking. So I think we need to move forward from there and do something about it. Don't you think so?
Well, I love the trip into technology. I'm sure there's someone listening that's got an app in mind. You know, perhaps you can create a happy honking app. There you go. There's a challenge for you. Any young person out there that fancies a bit of fun on a Friday, and send it to us and we'll push it round. Because like anything else, just as you were speaking, I could hear someone honking in the background. So, you know, whether it's your end or my end, it's actually getting through the airwaves. And it's traveled several thousand miles between me and you. So, again, let's just have a little bit of fun today. Let's see if we can change the mood of a nation. You know, if you're stuck in traffic, you don't want to be stuck in traffic. The people that have designed the roads don't want you stuck in traffic. You know, they've designed the roads actually to make traffic flow freely so that you can get to your destination in a comfortable way so that you're unflustered, you don't get angry, you don't get annoyed. The last thing they want is a very angry driver. You know, when we're on the road, we all need to be friends to everybody. You know, give people the right of way if they've got it, and don't take any silly moves. You know, don't move from one lane to the next and become that road rager that people don't like. So, bit of fun today. For all of those that are listening, it's hashtag happy honking or hashtag happy honker. So are you a happy honker, CK?
Actually, I can say I'm a happy honker as long as my honk is melodious. So I think I'm going to try this idea which you gave us today, which is, you know, train your thumbs to press the horn in such a way it comes out like a Mozart.
Well, it's actually funny because as we speak, I've just had a text in from someone who's watching BBC News, and they've got the cricket on, and in the background you can hear people hooting away. It's at Lord's, you know, the home of cricket in the UK, and apparently someone yesterday was sitting in traffic outside, probably a taxi driver, and they were honking the music to the introduction to cricket over here, which is okay. So there's the rendition that they did yesterday. I didn't know about that, but it's a friend of mine that's just literally texted me because he's listening in. So we can all have a little bit of fun. You know, no one wants to be stuck in traffic, let's face it. But you can take your temperature down, take your pressure down, and utilize these ears, or what's in between these ears, for a little bit more fun. And yet again, I hear a little beep in the background. So there you go. Happy honking day to everybody. It's now official. This is Happy Honking Day.
I think we can end our discussion on this positive note, Neville. And thank you so much for finding time and joining us to make our show very hilarious and also meaningful at the same time. We will catch up with you next week at same time on some other interesting subject. Have a nice weekend, Neville.
And everybody else, enjoy today. Take the frustration out of driving and just relax. Have a little bit of fun when you're stuck. Take care.